Oh, got it.
Yeah, and
to push it on.
Glowing green is on.
Going.
August 9th, 2011, regular meeting of Boulder Valley School District Board of Education. Sandy, would you call the roll, please?
Albright.
here.
Belville. Here. Jones.
Here.
Myers. Reed.
Here.
Roberge.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
So, welcome back, everyone. On the board, anyway. I know most of the people in this district have been back for a while and working very hard. But I think the board has enjoyed a fairly nice break, and so I'd like to welcome everybody back.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So anyway, welcome back, board members, and we will begin with our, I'm out of practice here, folks. With my usual opening statement, if I can find it.
If you want to take a break.
That's all right. Well, maybe we'll just, oh, here it is. So, as always, I'd like to remind all who have gathered here together that the mission of the Boulder Valley School District is to graduate students in the new century who have the knowledge, skills, and personal characteristics that will make this world a safer, more thoughtful, and more inclusive place in which to live. In support of that mission, I would like to begin our first agenda item, the superintendent's report. Dr. Messenger.
Well, good evening. Thrilled to be here this evening and serve as your superintendent in my first official capacity as in this role. So, first item on the superintendent's report, I'd like to remind you and those in the audience and those viewing that we have an open house this Thursday evening at Columbine Elementary School. So I would encourage you to attend. That is Thursday, August 11th at 6 o'clock p.m. So arrive, and the address is 3130 Repler Drive here in Boulder. So I encourage you to be there. I'd also like to just say that the first few weeks of my position, I've been busy having the opportunity to meet with all of you individually and have conversation, also members of the senior members of the administration here in this building, many of the principals. We started a district leadership team last week and also have had opportunity to meet with leadership of our employee groups and a number of community members, and we've completed 2 community receptions over the last 2 weeks with a nice gathering last evening at Manhattan and last week at Louisville Middle School. The first order of business that I'd like to start with is our honor roll. For the superintendent's honor roll, I would like 2 of our outstanding teachers, if they would come forward, please. Columbine Elementary teacher Sue Parsons and also Monarch High School teacher Kristen Donnelly. If you'd come forward, please. I really can't think of a better way to start my official capacity in the boardroom other than to honor 2 outstanding teachers. So this is a real privilege to me, and I'm going to work off a bit of a script here so that you get the full appreciation of both of these outstanding teachers and what they've accomplished. Sue Parsons, who's a math teacher at Columbine Elementary School, earned the prestigious Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Education. Sue's award included a paid trip to Washington, D.C. in May, where President Obama and Dr. Jill Biden thanked her and 84 other teachers nationally for their outstanding commitment to our nation's students. She wrote of this extraordinary moment with comments about her trip to Washington, which included a tour of the White House and conducted by Dr. Biden and a state dinner at the White House, as well as she wrote about her award the following. While I am proud to represent the Boulder Valley School District, I am also proud of the students of Columbine who, along with me, received this acknowledgement for their hard work and great potential. I truly believe that they deserve this award more than I do. Their love for learning and enthusiasm for taking on and challenging new ideas of learning and enthusiasm for their work, the most significant award that I could ever receive, both their trust and their success. It has been both a pleasure and an honor to serve them and their families. Sue was nominated by Columbine Elementary math coach Lauren Rubini, and so please help me in congratulating Sue for this outstanding accomplishment. So it's probably right to say that she's had some experiences this last few months that many of us have never had and might not ever have. So what an honor. And next, we'd like to recognize this evening Kristen Donnelly, a teacher at Monarch High School who was awarded the top tech teacher by the Apex Award from CSIA, which is Colorado's Technology Association. For Kristen, inspiring her students to create and learn beyond the standards, Kristen has increased student achievement by nearly 10% in her instruction. Kristen manages to find ways for her students to participate in pilot programs every fall, and they mentor over 60 students. Kristen is described by this professional association as an independent thinker, moving beyond the standards that are established in classroom expectations. Kristen utilizes 3D animation that speaks to her students' age group and also created real-world perspective for them. Kristen's success in increasing student achievement has also led to a $250,000 grant from Impact on Education for a collaboration of teachers for use of clickers in Boulder Valley School District classrooms, a nice use of new age technology. It is worth noting that 2 of the 3 finalists for this award came from Monarch High School, with Monarch High computer science AP teacher Sue Johnson finishing as a runner-up for this award. So please join me in congratulating Kristen for this honor. So just a few words to follow that well-deserved recognition. As I've had the opportunity to visit with folks over the last few weeks and engage in community conversations, I will tell you that it's been a rewarding and reinforcing experience for me. When I considered this position when offered, I thought I had a sense of what was about this school district and this community and what they valued in public education. I just want you to know, in the 6 weeks I've been on the job, that's been affirmed in many different ways. As I've had the opportunity to meet with leadership of our employee groups and also of our parents, who I will meet with formally through the course of the year, strong encouragement, a strong commitment to our children and to the public school system. And so it is a great honor for me to serve in this capacity. And while there are budget concerns ahead of us and many challenges we'll face through the year, what I know in this brief introduction to the district is there's great potential and opportunity and capacity as we continue to work on our goals. And I look forward to our day together tomorrow as we work on a governance structure and moving forward in this district. So thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to a productive board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there is, unless there's somebody hiding in the audience, there's no one signed up for public hearing. So we'll skip on to the next agenda item, which is board communication. Board members. Helene.
So I have a couple things before all the Columbine people walk out the room, but I'm going to say it anyways, I guess. I am unable to attend the event Thursday night for the Columbine ribbon cutting, and I am really sorry, but I have to be speaking at a dinner in the tech center, so there's no way I can get back. So I just wanted to be clear that that was why I was not attending. But I also wanted to call out and congratulate Columbine on the unbelievable results that they showed this year in their CSAP scores, proving that it's about leadership and it's about commitment of staff. And that school has been through a lot and definitely has had a microscope held on them, and I know that I have been one of the people holding that microscope. And so I want to be the first to personally congratulate the principal as well as the entire staff of Columbine for your incredible work on behalf of the kids in your school. And you're welcome. I know that this is just the beginning of what will really be turnaround results at that school, and I know it took a lot of commitment and passion, and thank you for doing that. So glad you came back in the room so I could thank you personally. The only other thing I'd like to say is that this is the beginning of what will be my last few months of my tenure on the school board. I have, depending on who counts, 7 or 8 official meetings left. And that is bittersweet. It is a time for looking back at both successes and challenges. And it is also a time to actively encourage anybody who lives in my director district to please come forward and run for the seat that I hold, which really isn't my seat. If there is anybody out there who's considering it, please feel free to contact me. You can, the date for pulling petitions are available just by contacting the board secretary. It's a very simple process, and I urge you, any member of the public to come forward, because serving on the school board is a life-changing experience. It's a way to learn about your community, to show your passion for public education, to work with incredible staff in every school and in the administration. And it's really the ultimate public service. And I encourage everybody to come forward and do it. My seat is available, as well as Ken's seat, because we are both term limited. So while it's sad to be thinking about leaving, I'm very hopeful that we'll have great candidates come forward to fill our shoes. Thanks.
Thank you. Leslie?
Well, it's funny, the two topics I was going to talk about tonight was Columbine and Kristen. First off, I'd like to say just congratulations again to Sue. That is such an honor for our district, and I was so excited to see the scores make such a big jump, and all of the teachers are just working so hard, and the new principal that now is in your second year is doing a wonderful job. I just have to say, I've had a lot of neighborhood people very excited about the opening, and I've been sending them the announcement. So neighbors, please, this is your chance on Thursday night to get a chance to see inside. I haven't been inside yet, so I'm really excited. I was amazed when I drove by one day and then the next day and saw a rubble pile. That was pretty incredible to see, which is the old school when it was taken down. The other thing I wanted to mention about Kristen, I know she's a very talented teacher. She almost got Teacher of the Year award for Colorado, along with this award this year. But she helped to implement a program partnering up with the CU GK-12 program that I'm director of, to get students up to the Mountain Research Station for a week. And our graduate students worked with them. And these sort of partnerships, I think, are really key for particularly high school students to get a taste of something that they might be interested in, to see if they like doing it, or maybe they don't like doing it, and help guide them into their college and career choices. So these sort of partnerships are great, and I hope that we can continue partnering with all sorts of different businesses and labs in the university to have more of these sort of internship programs.
Jim?
I also saw the good news out of Columbine, and you know, specifically to Sue. Thank you for everything you've done. You've been a constant advocate for kids throughout the district, and I'm glad other people than us have started to recognize that. So thank you. To Kristen, you both make us proud. It's a wonderful day when we can honor teachers. I do think that's a wonderful way to start the school year. I hope everyone had a good summer. I know I enjoyed my time off and came back and saw Bruce busily working away, hitting the ground running, out meeting the community, meeting with folks, meeting with staff, getting his feet wet and starting to run. So welcome to the district. Look forward to working with you. I know we're going to accomplish great things with you at the helm. I'd like to further point out Raleigh Heath and thank him for his leadership. I believe his Initiative 25 looks good to be on the ballot, and I look forward to a great campaign in the fall. I think he's looking forward to what kind of state we could be if this doesn't pass, and what kind of state we could be if it does pass. And I think for the future state I want to live in, I want his initiative to pass. So I look forward to working with him in the fall to try and get that accomplished. I think that's it.
Okay. Lori?
Jeez. Well, everybody's taken my topic. We all did the same thing all summer. I was going to say what I did over the summer was work on Initiative 25, collecting some of those signatures. And we have 142,000 signatures that we turned in the Secretary of State on Monday, and that's for an initiative, a citizens initiative that will likely be on the ballot in November, that will increase funding for schools by about $2.9 billion over the next 5 years for preschool, K-12, and higher ed. And it's just absolutely critical that that the voters of Colorado have a chance to say what are the kind of schools that we want and what are we willing to pay for that. So it's real important, and I'm looking forward to working on that campaign. And I would just say congratulations to our two outstanding teachers, Sue and Kristen. it's been really fun to watch you and to get the recognition that you deserve. And welcome back to teachers and kids, and we're off to a good year, and it's wonderful to have you on board, Bruce. Thank you. We're glad you're here. Thanks.
Jenny?
Well, I'm not left with much to say, so I'm just going to piggyback on what's already been said. Maybe we'll add a little different spin to the congratulations on Columbine. I'm absolutely thrilled, but I'd like to also think that we need to congratulate the students and the families who worked so hard to get these results. And it just proves what I always say, which is that if we have high expectations of kids and believe that they can, I mean, when I worked with kids at Aspen Creek, they surprised me all the time. They always did more than I thought they could, almost always. And this is just an example of having high expectations. I remember visiting your school, Guillermo, earlier this year, and you talked about, do we believe students can achieve or not? And that your staff and school had decided to believe that students could achieve. And you were right, they can. And I'd like to thank Lori. I'd like to thank not only Raleigh, but Lori, because I know Lori's been collecting signatures I don't know how many signatures you collected, but I think it was around 500 for kids, and that's a great, I'm really excited to see Amendment 25, or Initiative 25, on the ballot for a small increase in taxes. We get a big bang for our buck, and it's our commitment to the future. It's our state's opportunity to say that we believe in our future. And I know you collected about 500 signatures of those 142,000. So
I spent a lot of time on the street.
and my initial conversations with people have been surprisingly positive. So I'm cautiously optimistic that this is not the end, but the beginning. So welcome back, everybody, and congratulations to Sue and to Kristen Donnelly, who are fabulous, fine teachers.
Well, as usual, by the time it gets to me, it really has all been said, and I certainly support everything that my fellow board members have said. So I'll just part with just an observation. This is really the time of year, I think, that school is most forward in everybody's thinking and in everybody's mind. It's the time that we're getting our kids ready, we're getting our classrooms ready, and it's the time that we probably, as a community, are almost the most aware of public education and schools and the role that the schools play in our lives. And part of what I like about this time of year is kind of being involved in all of that excitement. And together I've certainly spent a lot of time with Dr. Messenger, and I'm just thrilled with the quality of superintendent that we have. We got a chance the other day to meet a lot of the principals, and I'm amazed at the quality of the principals that we have. We've got a chance to look at a lot of the CSAP results, and of course a lot of people have a lot of input into that, but certainly that's an indication of the quality of students that we have in this district as well. I've missed all of you, and it's great to sort of begin working together on board issues again, and I'm reminded of the quality of the board that we have. And in the many meetings that we've had with the community members and Dr. Messenger, and in a lot of the work that I've done in trying to cajole people to running for school board, I've really had a chance to talk to a lot of people in the community, and that coupled with the success of the referendums and bond issues that we've had over the last couple of years really leads me to conclude we have a very high quality community. So all of that stuff comes together in the school board. We get a chance to work with all those stakeholders, and I think that's why this job is so much fun. So that gets to the sales pitch. Like Helene, I'm term limited. And I would really encourage anyone who is interested in public education, want to serve the community, really concerned about the future of all of our kids, to think very seriously about stepping forward to run for one of the open board seats. And as Helene offered to have coffee, sit down, talk on the phone, whatever, explain what I know about the job, what I think the job is. But I've got to tell you, if you like working with quality people, this is the best job in the world, because this is a quality community all the way around. So with that, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the action items consent grouping. Tonight, that consists of personnel items, approval of minutes of the June 21st, 2011 special meeting, the June 28th, 2011 regular meeting, acceptance of donation Halcyon, approval of 2011-12 BVSD state lobbying contract, award of contract for the Transition Center building, Building Excellent Schools Today, known as the BEST grant for Horizons K-8, Boulder Universal Content purchase, out-of-cycle textbook adoption, and a grant of Chief Academic Officer, Colorado Integration Project, Colorado Legacy Foundation, grant Curriculum and Instruction, Comprehensive Health Education, Colorado Department of Education 2011. Do I have a motion to accept the action items? Leslie, seconded by Lori. Is there anyone who would like to pull any of the action items? Helene?
I would like to pull items A, personnel items, and item I, Colorado Integration Project, Colorado Legacy Foundation, please.
Okay. We've removed those two from the consent grouping. Any discussion or questions about any of the items on the consent grouping? Okay, hearing none. Sandy, would you call the vote, please?
Albright,
Yes.
Belleville,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Roberge,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. So, with that, we go to the items pulled from the grouping. So the first item on the agenda then is the personnel items. And do we have a motion to approve the personnel items? Jim? Lori, second? Any discussion about that? I would like to make a motion that we divide this issue and separate the social studies teacher position at Fairview High School from the rest of the items. Do I have a second? Helene? Any discussion about that? Sandy, would you call a vote on the motion to divide? Yes.
Okay. So the motion to divide the two items. Albright,
Motion to divide.
No.
Belleville,
You're just voting on whether we can split, not whether you approve one side or the other.
Can I change my vote? Sorry, we need a little clarification on what we're doing.
All right, so let's have some more discussion. Helene?
So to clarify, what we are voting on is there's a motion on the table to take the personnel items and split it into two votes. If you agree with splitting into two votes, you would vote yes now. If you don't agree with splitting it into two, you'd vote no. Then what will happen is we'll vote on each of the parts, Part A and Part B,
Right.
right?
Right,
Where's my
that's correct. And
parliamentary-
otherwise, we go back to the original motion, which is to vote on the whole package. Is everybody clear on that? Okay, any other discussion? Okay, are we ready so we restart the vote?
okay. Albright,
No.
Belleville,
No.
Jones,
Yes.
Reed,
No.
Roberge,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Okay, motion fails.
Okay,
We have a
that's right,
3-3.
that's correct.
Motion
Okay.
fails.
Okay, so back to the original motion on the table, which is to approve the personnel, the complete personnel package. So any further discussion on that? Hearing none, Sandy, would you call the vote, please?
Albright,
Yes?
Belleville,
Yes.
Jones,
No.
Reed,
Yes.
Roberge,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, we move on to the second item that was pulled, and that's the grant from the chief academic, how I read this is Grant Chief Academic Officer, Colorado Integration Project, Colorado Legacy Foundation. Do we have a motion to approve this item? Lori, seconded by Jenny. Okay, discussion. Helene.
I've pulled this item because I've notified the board in writing that I will recuse myself from this, voting on this item, not because there is a specific conflict of interest in our policy, but because of the belief I have that appearance of conflict is just as important as there actually being a conflict in policy. And given that I'm the CEO of the Colorado Legacy Foundation, I would not like there to be any appearance of conflict on this item.
So I'd like to state in the record that Helene has notified all the board members of her desire to abstain from this vote or recuse herself from this vote. And as long as no one has any objections to that, I suggest that we allow her to do that. Jenny? Okay. All right. So.
No, I don't have an objection. Could I make a comment?
Yes.
I'd like to thank Helene for her sensitivity to the appearance of conflicts of interest. I think it's a great model for all of the people in our district to follow.
Okay, so any other comments on the item at hand? Questions? Okay, hearing none. Sandy, would you call the vote, please?
Albright?
Yes?
Belleville?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Roberge?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a study item, CASB resolutions, and I'll introduce this one. Every year, our school board has the right or the opportunity to present resolutions that we think are important as a board for the entire state of Colorado, and we present that to the CASB delegate assembly. And so the process is if we approve a proposal, then it is forwarded to the CASB Resolutions Committee. From there, it gets put on the agenda for the meeting on October 15th at the CASB Delegate Convention. And those resolutions then that are approved by all of the, by a majority of the CASB delegates, then form the CASB legislative platform and guides their legislative committees going forward. So that's the process. Tonight is just really an opportunity for any of us who have things that we think might be reasonable things to bring to the entire state assembly of boards of education for their support. This is a great opportunity to do this. We'll talk about this today at the next meeting. If anything comes out of this, we'll try to draft some proposed resolutions for board approval, and then our voting delegate, who's Lori, will take these to the delegate assembly. Now, once those things are put onto the agenda, we'll also bring those back to the board for review, and then we have to guide Lori in this in terms of her votes on various issues at the delegate assembly. So that's really the process that we're starting tonight. So, with that, are there any ideas that board members have for things that you would like CASB's support in terms of representing us in the state?
When is the delegate assembly?
The delegate assembly is October 15th, I believe. And the resolutions are due to the resolutions committee by the 26th, I believe, of August. So that's why we have to take action at the next board meeting if we want to put anything on that agenda. Jim.
So I would like to think about proposal supporting Initiative 25, which by then will have an amendment number. I also think about one, reading the news recently nationwide, California passing the DREAM Act before Colorado, and one supporting the DREAM Act for Colorado. And I'd also like to think about one allowing districts to ask voters for a specific mill for facility maintenance. So 3 items that I'd like to consider.
Okay. Other board members? Helene?
I'm wondering if, given the statements by board members earlier, if we would be asking CASB to make a resolution in support of the Bright Futures ballot initiative. That's what it's called, Bright Futures, right? Yeah.
Bright, Colorado.
Bright Colorado,
Yeah,
yeah.
I-25.
Okay.
That's what Jim
Oh,
was.
okay, sorry, I missed that.
But that's, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
I think so. I think, yeah.
Okay, actually, I'd like to ask Briggs to step forward too, because he has a lot of input into this as well. And I know that as part of his job, he thinks about this stuff a lot.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did talk earlier today. One thing I think is very important for us to keep in mind, and it sounds pretty prosaic, but it's very important. It's the issue of the definition in the state budget of total program funding for K-12 education. As the board knows, for the last few years, we've had, if you think of it this way, visually, this has been the total program under Amendment 23 under the Constitution that K-12 should be funded at. State revenue has not allowed us to fund that, so we've actually had a negative factor imposed and are down here. The importance for us is that our voters passed a 3A last year locally, and that provides for an index 25% above total program. JBC staff has for the last 2 years recommended dropping the definition of total program funding to where total program funding actually is at the current moment. That would be, if enacted, and Bill has pointed out they could fix someplace else, but they're not likely to. If enacted, that would take the value of 3A down by several $1 million per year. And so I think that's critically important to us. For the last 2 years, BVSD has fought that battle alone through our lobbying team and won it, but it would be tremendously helpful to have CASB in alliance on that. And I think that even though other districts may not have the indexed override yet, I think all districts have a stake in not letting the General Assembly off the hook on what Colorado K-12 education should be funded at versus what it is currently being funded at. So and we could help with some wording. I'll work with Leslie Stafford on that, but I would hope that we could get CASB's support for something along the lines of maintaining that total program funding where it is now.
Thank you. Anything else, Briggs? Is that the?
No, that's
okay, that's fine. Okay, that's big. Lori? Jenny, I'm sorry.
I just have a comment, which is that there's a similar conversation. I'm going to be attending the Legislative Delegates Assembly for CASB Thursday afternoon. And there's, if anybody's interested in looking at the pages and pages and pages of legislative proposals they have pending, that's also going on at the same time. It's not a suggestion, just a comment.
Would you be willing to, I think oftentimes when we send somebody to represent the board, as we are in this case, we ask for kind of a summary of what happened. So if you'd be
Absolutely.
Willing to do that, I think all the board members would appreciate that. And then if you get something specific out of that you'd like to add in there, certainly let us know, and we'll put that into the hopper as
Okay.
well. Okay. Any other statements or comments or questions or suggestions? Lori?
I just, kind of an acknowledgement in the same way that Jenny is talking. I'm going to the Federal Relations Network meeting of CASB on Thursday morning, so I'm going to miss Jenny. But I will be talking about federal legislation at that point, and I will bring back a report of, what the committee thinks about.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, I think we're done with that item, which then leads us to the last. Go ahead.
So then, I think what you've asked, if I understand it, is that we're going to bring back these ideas
Right.
in the form of something more formal for our next meeting.
Right.
For like consent or.
Right.
Yeah, okay, just
Or action.
trying to clarify. Thanks.
One way or another, I think, you know, before we bring these to CASB, we need the whole board, or
Yeah.
at least the majority of the board supporting it, so. Okay, anything else? All right, that brings us to agenda setting. Anything that anybody, Leslie?
Well, I noticed in our Friday packet that we got the destratification report, and I'm wondering if at one point we should discuss, you know, is it still appropriate to do this every year? The initiative was developed before we developed our own goals. I think, you know, at this point, we might be more concerned about achievement for all students. Not that I don't think destratification is important, but, and it may be balled up with discussion of the goals, but I think it's something that we might want to discuss at one point,
Okay,
if it's morphed into
Suggestion.
something else.
other ideas? Okay, Jenny?
Well, we've spent quite a lot of TARP money, ARROW money, on on special education improvements and having Dr. Villa out at our schools. And I would be interested in, when staff is ready and feels like they have something to report on, I'd like something back on the effectiveness of those expenditures and that program.
Other ideas? Okay. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn. Lori, seconded. Leslie, any objections? Hearing none, we are adjourned at about 6:53.